I think power is way bigger of a drug than money. Money comes and goes. Power you can use if once you obtain it, you can then start manipulating and it becomes easier and easier to stay there. To get more and more money, you gotta do the right thing. You can keep getting more and more power doing the wrong things. It's actually easier. You know, people misquote this whole money is the root of all evil. It's the love of it. That's the evil part. The same thing is with power. We all have authority and dominion given to us, but then like how much do you really love it? How good of a servant are you? And I think that when you're a leader and you're a servant leader, you still look at how you can serve others. You're leading more like Jesus. So there's a book I read. It was called Jesus as a CEO. And I read it my first year as assistant principal. And I saw that leading like Jesus was very different from the way most leadership is taught in academia. And when I realized that, I started looking at the things that taught in academics on how to lead versus like what real leadership looks like. And people say things like lead from the front, not from the back, and all those different quotes, but power can be very intoxicating drug. And I've seen people do things that they probably thought they would never do. Money and power are separate, but if you get both and influence, then you can do a lot for good or bad. Because once you have that, it's so much harder to do the right thing because it's so easy to get away with doing the wrong thing. When you don't have money or power, it's hard to like do bad things. You don't have the ability. But when you have money to pay people to not talk, or when you have the power to scare people, or the influence to persuade them, and you combine the three, then I mean, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Power and money are not the same thing. They're actually very separate. However, we all have power. We're all given authority. We're all given the same power. The worldly view of power is manipulation and control. The kingdom way of power is about discernment and making good decisions. And so I've always prided myself with being a warrior in a garden better than being a gardener at war. There are a lot of gardeners with power, but they're actually weak people. Think about how many world leaders probably couldn't actually go on a battlefield and do what they're asking others to do. That was not the way of the world in the past. We live in a world now where men that are in power don't have to stand on the words they say. They can hide behind rules and regulations and censorship and social media and all these ways where they can do harmful things, say harmful things. They actually don't have to physically stand up for what they believe in. It's always best to be a capable person. You cannot be nice if you're not capable. You're just pretending. Some of the kindest people are people that can actually do a lot of damage to the world, but because they have respect for power, they have a respect for God, they have a respect for what real authority is, they are very peaceful because they know how ugly war and manipulation and destruction really is. And I think when you get out of that earthly view of power and you step into more of a kingdom perspective of power, you'll realize that the real power is treating others, being kind, being a servant to others, doing the right thing even when it doesn't feel good, or still keeping a positive mindset even when someone's burned you or done wrong, not necessarily seeking retaliation or revenge all the time. Those things are not signs of a powerful person, they're signs of a weak person that's masking themselves as powerful.